about your character in Immaculate Room.
She is Kate. She is a Kate. It was actually so fun to play Kate. I've never played a Kate, but it was cool to kind of have already something that was like built in, you know what I mean? So
Was that for you, or that just was coincidence?
it came to me as Kate. Mukunda, was it written for me? No, yes, it was. It wasn't, yes, it was written for me.
The only person I thought of.
Ever, for the history of time. No, it just came to me as Kate, and it was interesting because sometimes, well, all the time you have to inhabit like a new person and respond to a different name, but to have Eimile sort of saying Kate to me, and I already have a relationship with Eimile, was, you know, sort of somehow that made the process a little bit more natural and easy.
Yeah.
And that and the foundation of our friendship.
So great.
So Kate is very A-type. She's got, like all of us, some issues with her past, and she's upon entering the room, you know, kind of controlling. She likes structure. And yet I think she would find this like a kind of interesting challenge. She takes it on, like you can tell that when she enters the room, she really has a plan, like to get through this. And you know, all great plans get upended in the room. So she basically has a pretty wild unwinding in this Immaculate Room, which ultimately I think leads to her transformation.
Do you feel like the Immaculate Room was harder for Kate or harder for Eimile's character?
I personally think it was harder for Kate because Eimile's character is, and he's Mikey. He's an artist, so he kind of has this sort of go with the flow. You know, he's sort of a Peter Pan. You know, overexcited. Can kind of find the fun anywhere. Though he has his own like unraveling. I think it's like very confronting for Kate to be with someone like that and not like on her page, and to watch him sort of like move away from what she has planned is like very threatening to her. So yeah, I mean, ultimately I think it's probably more challenging for her because she has to relinquish control, and I think, I mean, I can relate to that as someone who likes control and likes structure. But also I think when you find yourselves in situations in life where you have to let go, that is the best opportunity for, you know, internal growth, transformation, and I think Kate really got that by the end.
Tell me about working with Eimile, and how was it different this time than last time?
I love working with Eimile. He is such a great actor. It's impossible for him to play a dishonest beat. And so it's truly such a pleasure to be sort of in his sphere. And he makes you better. And that's always like, you know, such a joy to work with him. And he and I have, you know, such a wonderful friendship that for characters like this who have, you know, they've been together a long time, and I think he told you that we kind of like crash landed into this movie. Like there was basically zero prep time for anybody. The foundation of our friendship, I think, really helped with like the history of these characters. And yeah, I mean, it's such a like deep unraveling for both of these characters that, you know, there's like a lot of vulnerability with that. There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of laughter. And so it was just like such a great experience to go through with him. Yeah.
Why the Mammoth Film Festival? Why is that significant for this film?
Well, I love Mammoth. I've been here skiing. I used to come here as a kid. I think it was because I was born in LA, and I think that it was driving to Mammoth where I first saw snow. I have to check with my parents, but I think that that's true. So Mammoth always has a bit of magic for me. And I think that there's like an intimacy and like a real personal kind of nature to this festival. Even just like walking around Mammoth Village, you just feel like it's so personal and cozy and magical. So I think to bring like cinema to this kind of a place, this landscape is like a perfect pairing. Mukunda is so talented, and another person who like, it's impossible for him to watch a dishonest beat or to play a dishonest beat. And I think anytime, you know, there are some genre elements with this movie, and certainly you know, a tall order and challenges of just visually shooting a white room for the duration of the movie. I mean, you really have to be in like visually deeply capable hands, like incredible like character-driven hands. I'm going to use his hands as a metaphor. He held us in this space. He really did, and to really track a very like multi-layered, kind of tricky arc for both of the characters, how they're separately moving in their arcs and how they're kind of moving together in this like crazy space of just an immaculate room. You know, you really have to be with a visionary and someone who's incredibly sensitive. And he's both such a visionary filmmaker, but also such an actor's director, which of course is, you know, my favorite director to be in the hands of. But it was a crazy experience, but such a pleasure as well. And like I said, I love character-driven pieces, and this was that. And it's so important to be with a filmmaker who really sees the movie and who's willing to collaborate and be fluid within the process. And Mukund is just incredible.
It sounds like you guys had a lot of freedom, like literally in the space, like a lot of freedom too. That's interesting. And how long did you shoot for?
How long did we shoot for? I don't know. Time ceases to exist in the pandemic for me now. That's the truth. I'm like,
Yeah.
Was it 3 weeks? Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks. But yeah, 3 weeks shooting in just a white space is challenging, you know. So, but we had a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, Eimile and I were often on the edge. In sort of like intense situations, whether it was like crazy fight scenes or like the love scenes or what else? Oh, like when Ashley's character enters, it's like it becomes very weird, and my character gets like really like threatened and like irritated by what's happening, and it's fun to be on the edge because it like there's like a nice electricity in the air, and so, and again, you have to really trust the person you're with. But we had such a great time. It was a ball.
Crackly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Crackly. It's a crackly movie.
This has been One Katie and a Kate, and this is The Loop.